What's going on, DBS community? Elmo Gonzalez here with G Sports Entertainment. We are here at Jacksonville Game Center with my man, Dahan. What's going on, Dahan?
What's up, Elmo?
We've been waiting for this deck profile. We know he strayed away from this deck for a few tournaments, but he decided to take it to the Gamerz SCR Victory Strike Secret Rare Tournament this past weekend. And how did you do, Dahan?
Dude, well, obviously got that first place. We got that dubs. The Janemba is back in action.
That's
Everybody,
right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Dahan decided to play Janemba.
Yeah, felt good, man. I put him down for a little bit, but it's coming back. He's coming back with a vengeance. Deck felt really clean overall through the tournament.
That's awesome, man.
All
All right, man, we'll get into it. What we got going on here?
So, starters, we got two Mafubas in the main. It's kind of stable now where I move towards the Janemba, where the Mafuba just buys so much time, especially in the tempo of the games. I was testing out All Too Easy. Wasn't terribly impressed with it. It was just kind of just another negate. The coolest thing you could do was pitch it towards the leader ability and then cast it from graveyard, but it ended up being, it would just be the same if you use the negate plus a leader ability, same cards. Pretty standard. You got 4 dimension magics, gotta have those, of course. The energy manipulation is just too important in Janemba, especially since we play all the 10Ks. Then to finish off all the extra cards, we got the 4 beans. Of course, every blue deck gotta have 4 beans. Best card, hands down, probably in the game. Don't quote me on that though. Alright, up next, that's all for the extra cards. I only played 2 Overwhelm cards, especially since it was kind of conflicting with the All Too Easy and the value of it. But I still prefer Kai over the Bardock that I know a lot of people have been playing in it, due to the fact that this is just another super combo on attack. So worst case worst, it gives the +5 to leader, which allowed me in some games to actually poke and harass on the front side. If I stayed at 6 and was play this, now I'm 15 poking at their 15k leader. It's all about the tempo and cards replacing themselves in my Janemba deck lists. And now for our Janemba lineup, we only played 3 of the childish, just always having the tutors so good, or just having the threat of Janemba just waiting. 3 agents of destructions. For the tempo turns, the card replaces itself, and just the way to turbo mill your opponent in the situation that allows you to. 1 reality bender. As you'll see later, why this is kind of hard for me to get off, as I do play a lot more of the 1-drops, so it's there for when it's useful, but overall, I wouldn't really want more than 1. It's just, it doesn't really do much else, doesn't replace itself. It's just a way to help accelerate turbo mill, which isn't necessarily my way of playing this deck. And for our spot removal, we got 3 demon swords. Still probably one of the best Janembas that they will make, unless they make a cheaper version of him. But card accelerates your mill plan, helps remove problematic cards, and just good tempo overall. And you can tell, I don't play Psyche Demons. I have a love-hate relationship with that card, but it just ends up missing too often since I don't play dense heavy of Janemba targets. So it's just not worth it for me to run, even for the Evolve, which eats up my first 2 turns and doesn't really plus me any cards. Now for the super combos, you can use the North Kai, or you can use the new Mai, as long as you have the 0-drop 10k, since we're playing the game to the 4 life point, and we do play Overwhelm, so the sparking isn't really going to be guaranteed online for the other ones. Pretty standard. Your 4 cells, and your 4 Gokus, your pseudo combos. Of course, this is the strength of Janemba, just always having infinite hand size and combo power. Alright. After that, we go into my one of fun ofs. Got the 1 just double strike, punish anybody that is, they just take too much damage, and then you get the shotgun them your whole hand and the double strike. The 1 Unyielding Spirit Trunks allows for cheeky plays and allow you to get aggressive with your mana. The 1 God Strike Beerus, of course, the best card in the deck. Single-handedly won me 3 games in the top cut back to back. Always there for when I need it, and just allows you to basically just get all of your opponents when they're not expecting it, or they just didn't play around it. It's a very flexible card as long as you play around it and your opponents don't. I only did 3 Borgos this time instead of the usual 4. People aren't being too aggressive with their mana nowadays, but it's still just 1-drop cycler, and the times where he's good, he's insane. Especially you can punish your opponents when they do get aggressive with their mana manipulation. Worst case worst, he's also a blue 1-drop cycler that I can charge for blue mana, as I still need to have a high density of blue mana charged. Now, The new core of the deck, that which I really love going, that made me bring it back going into the set, was my Toki engine, which allows you to play all these different little 3K black cards. So I actually did get to use this. One of my matchups was playing the Gogeta BR cards, so it was nice to be able to tutor him out and just shut off their bounce effects. It's also good against the UI deck. And Toki allows me to play all these, either one of or two ofs, to have theoretical 3 or 4 copies of the card as long as it's not in my life. So the matches where I can, I'll tutor out the Kami where I need a KO something, a Dende when I can blow up a mana where it's free. And the main reason why I went to this was because you can Toki out this blocker, the new rare blocker that allows you to, it one draws a card and blocks. So I essentially have a negate in a way that drew me a card, it was just my dream to have this. So this allowed me to be very flexible and cheap, efficient with either combo power or a blocker, draw a card. Overall, it does everything that I needed to. That's pretty much that for the main deck. For the side deck, we gotta give a shout out to Devin Buttersworth. He told me about this good tech idea. And me, him, and Abnel, the whole Helmet Squad, we loved it. This card was probably one of the best cards I boarded in all that day. This allowed me to make the Toa matchup a little bit more bearable. It was the cheap, efficient removal to blow up the regulators on command, so they didn't get too much value putting things back in the deck and not being able to draw as many cards. It's also great against Kid Goku, popping to 30Ks for 1 mana while applying pressure to other battle cards. And other fringe matchups, you can just use it as a way to just be able to gain tempo back on your side for the cheap efficiency. So that was that for that card. The card was insane, can't wait for foils. I was testing out one of the You're Wide Open, basically Blue's worst preemptive strike. It really wasn't that too good. I mean, sometimes it may buy you a turn, but it's coming back down this next turn and just felt kind of bad. The third Mafuba, sometimes in matchups you do want a third one just to have the higher chance of seeing it to keep opponents' pressure off, especially if they play like 1 or 2 monsters a turn. It just buys you more time than like something like You're Wide Open. Played 1 additional Dende in the sideboard for any ramp deck, so one, it gave me another Toki target and just have more copies of the Dende in the deck. Played 2 Black Mass, Dark Power Black Mass Saiyans in the sideboard for Chain Zeno Pan matchups or Wish Leader effects. Just anybody that's trying to spam board with efficient and cheap creatures that bring out more in one, just to punch them on that. And another way to self-awaken. We got our 2 Mercenary Towels, obviously for slug or heavy hand discard card decks, like stops Dende from wanting to 1-star loop you, and slug from doing their whole game plan in general. 2 Awakening Talent Pans, pretty self-explanatory. Blue Self-Awakener, just efficient card and helps you go for the matches where you want to go for the kill more so than mill. We have a second Further Instruction Champa. If you know you can't mill out a deck in time and you try to go more aggressive playing, you're going to want the second copy to add to your main deck. I already know some people play 2 in the main, but I still believe just having the 1 is enough, and the second one in the sideboard if you really want it. And the last 2 cards, we got 2 Son Goku striving to be at best, good against aggressive decks, and Kid Goku to stop the Krillin beatdowns and buy yourself more time and relieve the pressure of their aggression.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That is Hanemba with his Janemba deck. Dehan, member of G Sports Entertainment, probably the best Janemba player that I know of. I know everybody's, there are players out there that are really good with the deck, but there's something about him with that deck that specifically, makes him the best, one of the best. He's playing the deck. A few shout outs to give. We got Dusty O'Brien at Kitchen Table Meta, Tim Miller at Jacksonville Game Center, and a big shout out to John Alonzo with Trifinity Customs, who did the mat for this tournament. As you can see, it is a very sweet mat. Thanks to Gamerz SCR for hosting the tournament, as well as Butters down there for being a good liaison to everybody up here in Jacksonville. Dehan, other than that, how was everything else going in the tournament?
Oh, the tournament was really well done. I loved it. Everybody was working to get the tournament going, get all the match slips in. There's no problems. Judge staff was on top of everything. Just a really well-ran tournament. Shout out to Seth and the other owner for hosting such a great tournament.
All right, end of the month, in August, Jacksonville Game Center is hosting our preliminary. We are giving up a case of Set 7 to Top Cut. Make sure to try to get out to that tournament. Other than that, thanks, Dehan. We'll see you guys in Orlando.
See y'all then.